Welcome to the Extra Point, sports talk show where we are no strangers to arguing and bantering here on SCTV 12. It is a pleasure to have you with us. As always, I am your host, Peyton Krempley. Joining me at the desk tonight is Blake Thiemann, Fred Foster, and Zach Harris. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing pretty good.
All right, good to know. So, let's get down to business. This past Saturday, the Boston Red Sox triumphed over the Detroit Tigers as the American League Championships, and tonight they'll face the National League champions, St. Louis Cardinals, in a rematch of the 2004 World Series, where the Boston Red Sox swept the Cardinals in 4 games. However, this is 2013. The Cardinals have managed to win the World Series just 2 years ago, but they came up short last year. Gentlemen, predictions, what's going to happen? Zach, let's start with you down there.
Well, first off, I think this is going to be more of a defensive series than an offensive series, and I think it will come down to pitching. The Cardinals had Adam Wainwright starting tonight. He had a 19-9 record for the regular season with a 2.43 ERA. He was a closer in the 2006 World Series and actually threw out the last pitch that won them the series. He missed the Cardinals' last trip to the World Series in 2011 with an injury, so I think he will be very hungry in this series, along with the rest of the Cardinals' bullpen, that I think will carry them to a series victory in 6 games.
6 games, I think, the series is definitely going to, drag out to 6 or at least 7 games. I don't see a sweep happening at all during this entire series.
Absolutely
Blake,
not.
what is your opinion?
My opinion, I have the Boston Red Sox winning in 6 games. I believe they're going to win tonight. I also believe the St. Louis is going to win Game 2. Boston will win the next 2. St. Louis will win Game 5. And then Boston will win Game 6. Now, part of the reason why is because of Boston's pitching staff. They got John Lester. They also have Lackey. They got Taylor Buchholz and Jake Peavy. That's a heck of a lineup if you ask me. They got awesome hitting with David Ortiz, Jacoby Ellsbury, so many more. And not to mention Mr. Uhara, their awesome closer, who right now has 13 strikeouts and has an ERA of 1. That's pretty solid if you ask me. 6 games, Boston.
That is extremely solid. I can agree with your prediction there. In 6 games, I think Boston's definitely going to be able to pull it off at the very end. Fred, what about you?
Well, me being a Boston sports fan, I have the Red Sox winning in 5. I just believe Boston Red Sox and the Boston Strong theme that they have, beards, I see like the Red Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals are the perfect matchup for this year's World Series. I had the Los Angeles Dodgers facing the Red Sox, but ultimately St. Louis Cardinals won. The rematch, even though it was a sweep, it could possibly happen. You never know. Anything can happen within a championship game. Just depends on who's more hungrier. You have David Ortiz being the only Boston Red Sox that's been there since 2004. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, he was there for the 2004 World Series, 2007, and now 2013.
So I just feel like just the mentality of both teams and the energy, I just think Red Sox have the advantage.
Yeah, very good point. I definitely agree with that. The Red Sox, have David Ortiz. They have Dustin Pedroia, Jacoby Ellsbury, Shane Victorino. They have a very, very stellar batting lineup, and their pitching is no joke either. So currently the game is 5-0 Boston, top of the 7th. And we've received word that St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Carlos Beltran robbed David Ortiz of a home run earlier in the game. But Beltran's out of the game with a rib injury.
And that's going to be a huge blow to the Cardinals on batting as well, because he's known to be able to pop a couple ones deep in the outfield when he needs to. So he's one that often rises to the occasion, and we'll see how the Cardinals can rebound and overcome that.
Definitely. And I know Beltran's, really hungry for a World Series win, because he was actually in the 2005 World Series when they played on the Astros, but White Sox swept them in 4 games. I can tell Beltran's not going to be happy about his injury. Yeah. So hopefully he'll be able to recover soon, but if he's not, might be lights out for St. Louis.
True.
So St. Louis's bullpen, is very good. What was the name of their closer again?
Their closer, I'm drawing a blank offhand, but Adam Wainwright he's starting tonight. And
Well, the Cardinals also have Lance Lynn, who is actually from Brownsburg, close to where I'm from. You know, he played a very detrimental part in winning the World Series back in 2011. The Cardinals went so. And the Cardinals, you know, also have a very good offense. You know, they have Freese, they have Matt Holliday, Matt Carpenter. It's going to be a very good series. You know, right now Boston does have the lead. Honestly, I can see Game 2 going the complete opposite. You know, next game we see, I can easily see St. Louis having a 5-0 lead. So.
I totally agree because of Michael Wacha. He has a .43 ERA. That is solid.
.43?
Yeah.
That is extremely solid. Yeah. It's going to be a very
He's been almost unhittable
game.
This postseason.
Home
Definitely.
advantage will be the key perspective as well.
Oh, definitely.
Don't forget about
definitely.
that, yeah.
Yep. All right, well, during tonight's broadcast, we will keep you up to date on what is going on in the game. But as of right now, we're going to take a short commercial break and take a look at the NBA season when we come back. Welcome back to the Extra Point. Now, as baseball season comes to an end, there is one sport that is about to begin, and that's basketball. In exactly one more week, the NBA season will start up, and let me just say I'm definitely pumped up for the season, mainly because Derrick Rose is returning. So, Fred, I want to know your thoughts on this upcoming season, but more in particular, the fact that the Celtics have star guard Rajon Rondo, but they are without Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. What are your thoughts?
Well, I believe that with the loss of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, as well as the reserve Jason Terry, I feel like it'll be a tough schedule and tough year for the Celtics. People are predicting them to be 12th in the Eastern Conference. We have a legit new coach, Brad Stevens, great coach in college, but you never know because it's a different atmosphere with the NBA. And we still have Rajon Rondo. He may not be back till late November, early December. But I think with the young talent that we have, we can make some noise in the playoffs. I don't think that we'll win any championships anytime soon, but you still have to give the fans what they want. People think we may tank the season just to get Andrew Wiggins. I would never see the Celtics ever doing such thing.
Definitely, I see. Blake, what about you?
I don't see them tanking either, to be honest with you. I have them getting either the 7th seed or the 8th seed in the playoffs. I don't think they'll really go anywhere, but I think they'll still make the playoffs.
You know what Fred said about Brad Stevens, you know, he did have an outstanding career as a college coach, and he basically turned Butler into the Cinderella team, if you will, leading Butler to 2 back-to-back national championship game berths. And so I could see him doing the same thing with the Celtics. However, I don't see them going very far, as you mentioned, but I do see them at least making the playoffs and making a formidable run, which is a lot more than most people expect out of the Celtics.
We have a good perception of where the Celtics are going to go this year, but let's talk about any other teams. You know, what do you guys think overall is going to be the general, you know, consensus of the playoffs are looking like?
I believe since Dwight, you know,
Dwight Howard,
as we all know, he was a Laker last year, now a newly Houston Rockets. Him, James Harden, Jeremy Lin, Garcia Parsons. You got Kevin McHale coaching. You got the late, great Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, definitely.
I just believe they'll make a run in the playoffs. And, you know, it's always Miami Heat discussion, OKC. But I think you can watch out for Brian Shaw and the Denver Nuggets.
It's another good team to really not to sleep on. Blake, what about you? Who else is going to be up there?
Definitely the Oklahoma City Thunder. I actually have them winning, defeating the Miami Heat. And I also say watch for the Los Angeles Clippers, believe it or not. With Blake Griffin and CP3.
Well, you look good on paper. You know, I think the only Los Angeles team that's going to be winning any championships from this point on is only going to be the Lakers. I don't see the Clippers really going anywhere, really. So
I would disagree there. I think Blake Griffin and CP3 will do well this year.
Oklahoma needs James Harden back.
Well, I can tell you guys one thing. There is one team I know in particular that will not win the finals, will not make it to the finals, and one player in particular who will not be the MVP this year. And that is LeBron James and the Miami Heat, ladies and gentlemen. And here is my proof, right here. Cover athletes in games. Every year when video game companies, you know, have their new game, they always release who's going to be on the front cover of whatever game. They put, who they think is going to be the MVP. They find a player that, has a very exceptional season, and they went with LeBron James this year. And as you can see, LeBron James has said in an interview recently that they actually want to have a three-peat. The Heat beat OKC, they beat the Spurs, and now they want to go to the finals again and win. But this is the curse right here. I'm sure you've heard of, Marshall Faulk being on the Madden NFL 2003 cover. What happened? He got injured. His career plummeted. Last year on NBA 2K13, Derrick Rose was one of the athletes on the cover. What happened last season? Derrick Rose didn't even play. That's why they had to have the past few seasons. They had to have Michael Jordan on the cover because they didn't want to risk, any jinxes or anything like that. So having the Miami Heat going to the playoffs, I think, is very unlikely.
I think last year with the playoffs weren't healthy. You had Rose being gone. Rajon Rondo was gone. You had Danny Granger with the Pacers hurt. He came back but really didn't do anything.
Yep.
And then on the opposite side of the West, Russell Westbrook, he was out. So I just can't see them. I can't see the Miami Heat just three-peating. It's not going to happen.
I see the Heat making the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Brooklyn Nets. That's just my prediction. And what happens from there, I'm not quite sure. I think that'll be an interesting series. However, I do not see the Heat making the NBA Finals.
I think one team that you guys are all counting out is the Chicago Bulls, with the return of Derrick Rose this year. And as you all know, last year, the Bulls made it to the playoffs without Derrick Rose. The Bulls have a very stellar team. They have, other than Derrick Rose, they have Kirk Hinrich, they have Carlos Boozer, Jakeem Noah, Jimmy Butler, Taj Gibson. This is a stellar team that I think is going to overcome every other team out there. I'll say that the Heat are going to be able to, really beat the Bulls to the point every single time. I think if they meet in the playoffs, it's going to be a really interesting amount of games played. I think it'll go to game 6 or 7. But the thing is, the Bulls, they'll win it this year. Mark my words.
They had the same team in 2010, lost to my Celtics in 7. Same team in 2011, lost in 5 against the Heat. I think if D. Rose would have came back last year, it would have been a greater opportunity for them to win. Me personally, I think he's scared of the Heat.
No, see, Derrick Rose has worked a lot on his three-pointer and his outside jump shot. He is an all-around good point guard. He's back better than ever, His knee is completely repaired, almost brand new. I think it's our year.
It was brand new last year.
But he didn't play last year.
He gave up.
Well, this year he's all in.
But what if they don't get the job done this year? Then it's deja vu for the entire Bulls nation.
But that's the thing.
We'll be back next
the Bulls will make it this year. Right now in the preseason, they're undefeated.
It's preseason.
6-0.
Yeah, it's preseason.
It's preseason, but the Chicago Bulls have a very, very, very good team. I think they're the team to win this year.
When's the last time you saw a team that did well in the preseason do well in the actual season itself? Most of the times, the team that dominate the preseason in any sport wind up having somewhat of a mediocre season, if you will. I think Derrick Rose's return, I think he'll be a formidable, very outstanding talent like he normally is, but I think his return is very overhyped, and I do not think he will contribute in the way that he did in the past. I don't think his knee will be as good as it was.
Plus, there's also a chance he could get re-injured.
And you want to know why? Thank you for bringing that up. Because he's wearing those Adidas shoes. They're too light. You can't be fast on your feet and wear light shoes.
I mean,
I wore them personally.
He has a
My
sponsorship
legs
with
hurt.
Adidas.
And he's coming out with these, and he's campaigning with these, the return commercials, this and all that. Didn't even show up. He's just on the bench like this, chilling the whole time, while his team's getting beat by the Heat when they need him.
Well, see, that's why I think the season's going to be different. I think Rose has just had enough of that. I think overall the Bulls are just going to come together. They're going to make some noise this season. They're going to make it to the playoffs. They've made it to the playoffs the past 5 years already. They're going to make it to the playoffs. I think that if the Heat stand in their way, they're going to beat the Heat. Because like I said earlier, the Heat certainly are not going to go to the finals.
I can't stand the Heat. I don't hate LeBron, so let me put that out there. I just don't respect him.
All right, one thing to note, the owners of the NBA have made a pretty significant change to the NBA Finals. Instead of having a 2-3-2 format, the Finals will now feature a 2-2-1-1-1 format. How do you guys think this will affect the league? Let's just say that in the NBA Finals, let's say hypothetically that the Heat meet with OKC again. The Heat win a game in Miami. Well, guess what? Next game takes place in Oklahoma City. They don't have that momentum going in. So what do you guys think with this change that the owners made?
Well, I think OKC has a strong fan base.
Yes, they do.
And it was a pretty legit matchup between them 2 years ago. So I believe just the 1-1 format, it changes everybody's personality-wise, because you just won a game or lost a game. Then you have to fly, check into a hotel. You got to do all this. You need days and time to prepare yourself for the next game. Although sometimes it says home game is the most important thing, but you can sneak into the opponent's arena and seal a win.
Definitely. That's, it's going to be interesting. I think they're putting a lot of pressure on the players by doing this. It's a lot of back and forth. You don't, like I said earlier, you don't have that home field advantage type thing. You got to play here, then you got to play there, then you can play back here, and then back there again. So what do you two think?
I think it favors the home team, definitely, like what you said with Oklahoma City. They have a very, very strong fan base. And I'll mention your Bulls typically have a very good fan base as well. So, yeah, I think it definitely favors the home team.
Well, I like the way the system is currently, to be honest with you. And I'm going to go with the old adage that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't see a legitimate reason to change the format from the way it is now. That's just me. But if it puts money in the owners' pockets, then ultimately that's what the team owners want. So if that's the reasoning behind it, there you go.
All right.
But what if you just play the finals in a location where it's equal for every fan that's out there?
Like a neutral court?
Yeah.
I think I would like that a lot more, like having the NBA Finals in Hawaii, somewhere completely far away from any land whatsoever, and just the teams just take turns, just, being the home team, even though neither team is home, and whatever expensive spending fans want to pay for tickets to go fly to Hawaii and watch the finals, it's all good and dandy with me.
Get horrible ratings, though.
It would
No, I doubt it.
Because of time.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Hawaii's on a weird time zone, so watch the NBA Finals at 4 in the morning. So on the topic of basketball,
It's in the summer, though, so people can stay up. You might be.
some people have to work, though. So.
That's true, yeah.
All right, on the topic of basketball, this weekend is going to feature our very own men's basketball team here at USI taking on IU in an exhibition game to get both teams ready for the regular season. You won't want to miss this, coming up after the break. Welcome back to the Extra Point. Tom Crean and Rodney Watson will have a showdown this weekend as the Screaming Eagles of USI will go on to face the Indiana University Hoosiers in a men's basketball showdown. It's not against the norm for our own USI team to take on a Division I team in exhibition, but this is the first time these two teams are going to face one another. How do you guys think USI is going to do against the number 24 ranked IU? Fred, to start with you.
I think it'll be a blowout game. I just don't see USI being that type of team to go up against a Division I team. I went to the game 2 years ago when they played Purdue. It was a fair league game, but then Purdue slipped away with an even greater lead. But at the same time, IU is a tremendous team and a tremendous program. Tom Crean has changed that program. And then if it was the same team from last year, I think IU would win by 100. But it all goes with the point guard matchup. You have Yogi Ferrell against Lawrence Thomas. You have a senior versus a sophomore. With that being played in Assembly Hall with that type of crowd, it'll throw off USI's momentum. So it'll just be. It's on Halloween weekend, so that's their trick and treat.
Okay, well, first of all, it needs to be said, Orlando Rutledge, the leading scorer for the USI Eagles, is out for this game. That will play a huge role. USI does return 12 players, though. It is played in Bloomington. I'm predicting a 75-60 win for IU. It will be close in the first half, but then IU will pull away in the second half.
It's very interesting with these close games you guys are talking about. Zach, what do you think?
I think it'll be a lot closer than what people think. I do have IU winning this game ultimately, but I have IU only winning the game by 8. I look for Aaron Nelson to come off of his ACL injury and have a huge game in his return. I think he'll make a bigger impact this season than Derrick Rose will in the NBA.
Oh, get out of here.
But
Get out of
I'll
here.
just leave it at that. I think Lawrence Thomas, the senior, he's a big leader, and I think he will have a very good game, and he'll put on a very good showing for the Eagles and show why he is one of the best in the GLVC as well as Division II altogether. And I think for IU to open this game with USI, I think it'll give USI a great advantage over all their opponents this season, because once they play IU, then they go on to have another exhibition against Tennessee, and I think that will give them a tremendous advantage over all the competition that they will face this season.
It's a very good point. You know, I got to say, though, I don't think this game is going to be close at all. Yes, IU has lost Christian Watford, Oladipo,
Cody Zeller.
They've lost a lot of good people. At the same time, IU has always had a good recruiting class. They have a 7-footer, Peter Jerkin. You have to look at USI. You know, we picked up a guy goes by the name of Gavin Schumann, who at his previous school averaged 20 points a game. You know, alongside Aaron Nelson and Lawrence Thomas, I think they're going to be the main people who are going to have to put up an offense for USI. But at the same time, I think USI is going to be able to put much offense up against IU.
And they lost a key contributor on the defensive side with Keon Smith.
They did lose Keon Smith. You know, that guy, he was only 5'11", but, you know, he could really throw down, man.
He was one of the best defenders in the GLVC last year, and he will be a big loss for USI this season. We'll see how they can overcome that, and we'll see how the transfers play in, too. They have to prove themselves, and we'll see what they have for the Screaming Eagles fans.
But what if USI comes out on top?
That would be.
That's highly unlikely. And let me say why. You know, it was reported that the game was sold out, first of all, you know. And you know, Assembly Hall is a really big place, and people who are IU basketball fans go absolutely crazy. So if they see someone like Yogi or Sheehy throw down, the place is going to go nuts. And I don't think the players at USI are used to having such a big, loud crowd like that, because, you know, we're only a Division II school, sadly. You know, I think that unless USI can keep its composure, this game is going to be a blowout. If somehow USI does pull ahead the victory, that can only mean one thing. IU is going to have one of their worst seasons in a long time.
They're ranked 24th already. All it takes is one loss, possibly 2, and they're unranked. Then it's back to reality with the Hoosiers.
Yep. Also, Taylor Wishmeyer will probably need to step up if they have any chance at all at winning.
He's one of the best big men.
Oh, yes, Wishmeyer, definitely. He had a good season last season.
He did.
Yep, I heard a lot about him. You know, he really puts up a lot of good offense. But, you know, him alongside Gavin Schumann, Aaron Nelson, and Lawrence Thomas, I think those guys are going to have to be the ones to really step it up this game and really put up points for USI if they want to even contend with IU.
I agree.
All right, so now it's time for the part of the show where each of us talk about a viewpoint we have on the sports world that we stand strongly behind. This is Strongly Opinionated. All right, Fred, let's start with you. Highly controversial topic. What is it?
Well, ESPN for a long time, since 2003, came up with the concept that the king, as they call him, LeBron James, is about to be better than Michael Jordan. I see LeBron ever accomplishing the same thing Michael Jordan did in his respective careers. It was 2 different eras, and I think LeBron wouldn't even average 15 in that 90s era. He's always a crybaby, and, you know, he gets touched, he cries to the refs. People in the 90s, they didn't care if you cried to the ref. They're still going to beat you up.
Oh, definitely. If you look at a team like the Detroit Pistons back in the 90s when Isaiah Thomas played, I remember
They called them the bad boys.
The bad boys. Those guys played dirty.
Exactly.
Yes,
There was no such thing as crybabies back then. Like
Michael Jordan had to go and prepare himself, and guess what happened? Swept.
Definitely, you know, and I think, you know, when you look in comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James, what made Michael Jordan such a good player is, you know, he was not just good at scoring. He was not just good at winning championships. He won Defensive Player of the Year. most assists. He won the slam dunk contest. He made it to numerous All-Star games.
LeBron's scared to be in the dunk.
He has a lot of accolades to stand behind, where I don't think, or LeBron doesn't have that many to stand behind. You know, that's the thing. And what made Michael Jordan also what a good player he is the team that he had behind him. You know, he had Scottie Pippen, who was the number 2 ranked basketball player at the time. He had Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper. Who else did he have?
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc. He had a great team behind him. You look at LeBron. Who does LeBron have? He has Chris Bosh, who, I'll give it to Bosh, good defensive player. Offensively,
Not really.
yeah, very It's a good way to put it. Dwayne Wade's a good player. Nowhere near Scottie Pippen's level.
Yeah, he hasn't been the
Nowhere.
same since he got injured.
Has not. And who else do the Heat have? They have Birdman. I like Birdman just because, you know, he's like a rebel, mohawk and a lot of tattoos. The Heat have Mario Chalmers, which
I can't stand Mario Chalmers.
yeah, I don't think Mario Chalmers is even up there with even Ron Harper's level, honestly. So, you know, I just don't understand the comparisons either. LeBron James is nowhere near Michael Jordan's level.
The only person that you can compare to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant because he has the rings to show for it. And then at the same time, I feel like Michael Jordan had to work for his points. Majority of the teams had a strong center and power forward. The league now, there's not that much competition.
Definitely.
Totally agree.
Let me list one con about LeBron James real quick. You mentioned him being a crybaby earlier. LeBron James is probably 95% of the reason that we have the alleged flop rule in the NBA.
And they don't even go by it.
And, okay, let's take MVPs and all that aside. Let's just look at rings. LeBron now has 2 rings. Michael Jordan had 6. And aside from that, we were talking before the show about the 98 NBA Finals. Michael Jordan played a game with the flu the entire game where he was practically immobilized, couldn't hardly stand on his own feet, and still went out there and played one of the greatest games of his career, of which afterwards he had to be assisted off the court. When LeBron James does something like that, then you can come talk to me about LeBron possibly being considered as
Definitely
better than Jordan.
And the thing is, when Jordan played, Jordan had 38 points that game. And the thing is, Jordan went up against a really tough team. The Utah Jazz back in the day were bad, man.
They were good.
The good kind of bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they had Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek, draining threes like it was nothing. I mean, the league was better back then. You know?
Last time I checked, I don't think Michael Jordan ever went on TV to have a decision about where he was going to go.
He never was going to give up on the Bulls organization.
The Chicago Bulls through thick and
And
thin.
then he retired for, 2 years?
Yeah,
And then the
he
Houston Rockets won.
Yeah.
If he didn't retire, he could have won 2 more rings.
The thing
That
is,
would've been 8.
Jordan retired to go play baseball. He'd play another sport.
And then came back, won 3 more.
Yep.
LeBron can't do that. He wants to say he wants to be in the NFL when his NBA career. He's a crybaby. He's going to get hit. And you know players are going to target his knees.
I can't imagine LeBron playing in the NFL. Like, what position would he play? Would he be a
He would try to
linebacker?
play tight end receiver.
Tight end, and he gets knocked over. You think he's a crybaby now in the NBA?
You've seen Reggie Bush get hit his first year.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. LeBron is miles away from being anywhere near Michael Jordan's
He's not
level.
even on Kobe's level.
He's not on Kobe's level. I can agree with that too.
I think if LeBron James actually goes to the NFL, then Brett Favre can go ahead and come back from the nursing home.
Oh man. Oh god, yeah, definitely.
Have to play that
All right,
commercial.
all right. Let's leave LeBron alone. I mean, he's
Boo-hoo.
he made the cover of 2K14. You know, let him have his
And
glory.
so let me get back to that. If you're such a great athlete and you're one of the best, why is it now that you're on a cover of a video game?
Exactly. 10 years later.
Yeah.
ESPN wants this to happen.
ESPN hypes this man up.
Oh man, all right, guys, let's leave LeBron alone. Blake, what's your controversial opinion here,
Okay,
man?
alrighty. As most of you guys know, this past Sunday night, there was a heck of a matchup in Indianapolis. Peyton Manning made his return to the place and to the city where he made famous. Check out the reaction that he got from the crowd. Overall, the crowd gave him a well-deserved standing round of applause. Way to go, city of Indianapolis. With the exception of Jim Irsay, they did an outstanding job. It was a great game. I think the game went about as well for the city as it could have. Good job, Indianapolis.
Definitely, Peyton Manning, love him or hate him, he's had a very long career. His rookie year was 98. It's now 2013, and he's playing better than he's ever been. He's having a great season.
Yes.
Why Jim Irsay's knocking him down like that? It beats me, honestly. I think he's just. I think Jim Irsay is living in regret right now. He's regretting letting Peyton Manning go because he's now realizing that Peyton Manning's with another team. Peyton Manning's not letting back at all. He's progressing as a player a lot. He's a really
He told
good guy.
Jim Irsay to draft Luck over RG3.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you look at the comments being made by Jim Irsay, look at the videos, look at him, he's not himself. Even though they reportedly say he drinks, all that. Sometimes when you're drunk, you tell the truth.
His dad definitely did. That's true.
Drunk words are sober thoughts.
I agree.
That's a good point. Yep. Zach, what do you think about this?
Well, I think the comments that were made by Jim Irsay, I think they were somewhat misconstrued by ESPN and other media outlets. But let's just take a minute here. Before Peyton Manning was drafted in Indianapolis in 1998, that 2-14 season they had, the year that he was injured, that was about the average season for the Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
And I'm a Colts fan, and I'll go ahead and throw that out there.
Me too.
They were a complete mediocre team before the Peyton Manning era. And after all Peyton Manning did for the organization, all the games he won, yeah, he only won one Super Bowl, but he established the franchise as one of the most legitimate franchises in the NFL, and that would not have been done without Peyton Manning. And also, he established himself as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And if it were not for Peyton Manning, I firmly believe that the Colts franchise wouldn't even be in Indianapolis.
It's a very good point. Now, the reception of Peyton Manning has been very good amongst a lot of people. However, my controversial opinion deals with Peyton Manning, and it also deals with Andrew Luck. Peyton Manning was revered as the greatest Colts quarterback of all time, and some even go as far as saying he is the greatest quarterback of all time. City of Indianapolis and the Colts fans in general all love Peyton Manning, regardless of what team he is on. But here's the thing. Andrew Luck handling the Broncos this past weekend, 10 years from now, no one's going to remember Peyton Manning as being such a great quarterback. They're going to remember Andrew Luck as being a very stellar quarterback who is going to lead the Colts to many Super Bowls. He's going to surpass Peyton Manning in a ton of records and all that. And here's why. Luck is only on his second season. He's led the Colts. His rookie season, he led the Colts to the playoffs. 12-14 record. What happened Peyton Manning's rookie season? Not that, the complete opposite. So, and let's take a look at this. The Broncos were undefeated at the time. It didn't look like any team was going to stand in the Broncos' way of, having, a very, I almost want to say undefeated season, but, having an undefeated season in the NFL is quite rare. Mm-hmm. However, I didn't think Indianapolis would be the team to topple Denver.
Well, I know that a lot of people were talking that there was going to be a possible trap game for them, and I knew that they were going to give them a run for their money. But, I was a little surprised, but I'm very happy that the Colts won as well. And I see your point where you're coming from, but Peyton Manning has the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage. He will be remembered definitely after once he retires and everything, because he helped build that organization, make it is what it is today. And plus, I would say Andrew Luck inherited a much better team than Peyton Manning inherited too. So. Yeah,
but you also have to remember that when Andrew Luck came on the Colts squad, it was rebuilt mainly because the Colts got rid of a ton of their players and some even retired here and there. But the thing is, Peyton Manning progressed into the quarterback he is now. He is absolutely stellar at calling plays and, burning fakes and all that. I think Andrew Luck, give him 5 more years, he'll progress into a quarterback that is beyond that.
But at the same time, each of their first seasons with the Colts, they basically had the same type of format besides Luck going to the playoffs. Interceptions is what has them compared. I feel like their prospective careers will be the same because at the end of the day, the Colts can't get the job done.
Well,
yeah, they got the Super Bowl in 06, but back in 09, Peyton couldn't get the job done.
Let's take it back for a second. Okay? Through the first 23 starts of both Manning and Andrew Luck went 17-6 in his first 23 starts. Peyton Manning, on the other end, went 8-15 in his first 23 starts. And on that note, I think Andrew Luck is going to have a better overall career than Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. However, I don't see Peyton Manning being an afterthought. If anything, I see Peyton Manning being the one that laid the foundation down for Andrew Luck, and I see their careers ultimately being pretty even, although Andrew Luck may win a few more Super Bowls than Manning.
Overall, I think that'll be the point. I think Manning is going to be known as the quarterback who laid the foundation, but I think Andrew Luck is going to be the quarterback who brings championships to the city of Indianapolis, something that Peyton Manning could not do.
Let me get you on that. Me being from Indiana, I don't see Pacers, Colts, whoever winning any championships anytime soon.
Anytime soon, every city needs, that one hero to really, or that not a hero, that one team to really just turn things around and just start winning championships. The Colts will win the Super Bowl one year. The Pacers might make it to the finals that next year or year down the road. So, I think eventually Indianapolis is going to see the spark, whether it's going to happen with the Pacers or the Colts. One team is going to win a championship.
I agree. Eventually, Andrew Luck will win. I'm going to guess 2 championships, more than likely.
I'm going to say it's more than 2. I think Andrew Luck could be on Tom Brady's level as far as championships go. Give it time. Give it time.
I'll say 3 or 4. I could see that easily happening. I'll say he could easily pass Tom Brady's career. I'll go there. I will go there.
This is only Luck's second season, all right? He's had a stellar rookie season. This season right now is shaping up to be pretty good. He's progressing as a player. He will become a better quarterback than he is now.
Of course, everybody progresses.
Yeah.
Well,
Tom Brady progressed.
He came in
as a
2001
as a third round,
sixth
pick?
round,
and round pick.
Sixth round.
Yeah.
He came and started and took the place of Drew Bledsoe and went to the Super Bowl that same year.
Yep.
But it wasn't him that won the Super Bowl though. They got him. He got them there. But Adam Vinatieri won majority of the Super Bowls.
Agreed.
And the thing is, Andrew Luck made the Colts the playoffs.
But got out in the first round.
So but he slowly
starts the same comparison that Peyton Manning has, going 9 for 11.
He was a rookie.
But how many?
Okay, he's still getting out of the first round.
How many rookie quarterbacks do you even know that lead their team to
Colin Kaepernick,
playoff berth? And
RG3.
You know what? Colin Kaepernick is overrated. I think them getting rid of Alex Smith for Colin Kaepernick was just a joke, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think Alex Smith was way better. And I think ultimately
you see what he's doing with
49ers
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chiefs are the only undefeated team still in the NFL. I didn't see that coming.
I kind of did.
I knew they do. I knew that they'd be really good now that they have the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, I knew they were going to be good too. But the only team that's undefeated, the only team.
Ultimately, I thought Kansas City having Andy Reid as the head coach was going to be a mistake, but in a way, he almost revived his coaching career and reestablished himself as one of the premier coaches in the NFL.
I agree.
Yep, definitely did. All right, well, that's all we have for you tonight. Join us next time as we further look into basketball and check out how the NFL postseason is shaping up. I'm I'm Peyton Krempley.
I'm Fred Foster.
I'm Blake Thiemann.
I'm Zach Harris.
Thank you, and we'll see you again here in 2 weeks on the Extra Point.